Hey there, revolutionaries. It's Carissa, and I am here to let you in on something really exciting. I'm reclaiming October as Plottober, and I'd love for you to join me in my 4 books, 5 days live cohort. Starting on October 7th, I'll guide you through a powerful 5-day challenge where we'll map out your next 4 book series. And here's the best part, you'll see how using ChatGPT can supercharge your brainstorming, plotting, and outlining, making the entire process faster and more creative. By the end of this challenge, you'll have a clear roadmap for your series and the tools to turn your writing dreams into reality. Want to join me? Head over to authorrevolution.org/Plottober, and don't forget to use promo code Plottober24 for 41% off. We'll start soon. See you there. Welcome to the Author Revolution podcast, where change is not just embraced, it's celebrated. I'm Carissa Andrews, international best-selling author, indie author coach, and your navigator through the ever-evolving landscape of authorship. Are you ready to harness the power of your mind and the latest innovations in technology for your writing journey? If you're passionate about manifesting your dreams and pioneering new writing frontiers, then you're in the perfect place. Here, we merge the mystical woo of writing with the exciting advancements of the modern world. We dive into the realms of mindset, manifestation, and the transformative magic that occurs when you believe in the impossible. We also venture into the world of futuristic technologies and strategies, preparing you for the next chapter in your author career. Every week, we explore new ways to revolutionize your writing and publishing experience. From AI to breakthrough thinking, this podcast is your gateway to a world where creativity meets innovation. Whether you're penning your first novel or expanding your literary empire, whether you're a devotee of the pen or a digital storyteller, this podcast is where your author revolution gains momentum. So join me in this journey to continue growth and transformation. It's time to redefine what it means to be an author in today's dynamic world. This is the Author Revolution podcast, and your author revolution starts now. Well, hey there, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Author Revolution podcast. Oh, this is going to be a fun one because this is my first solo episode in what feels like forever. I've been interviewing so many amazing people this year that it kind of got away from me, and I've learned so much. I've taken on so much information, onboarded so much. It's been fabulous. But now we've got something new to talk about. And if you're anything like me, you've probably been taught to plan your books a certain way. Pen to paper, hours of outlining and grinding through the whole plot holes the hard way. Now, if you know me, you know that I love testing out new technologies. You know that I love trying new things. And what if I told you that the biggest thing holding me back wasn't actually the writing process, but it was the mindset I was stuck in? So today I'm going to walk you through 5 things I had to unlearn in order to fully embrace AI as a tool and completely transform the way that I plan my series. Now, trust me, once you make these shifts, your writing process will never be the same. And by the end of this episode, you'll understand how to supercharge your series planning using AI and the exact mindset shifts I made to get there. So, number 1, the first thing I had to unlearn was the solo writer myth, right? So writers are often taught that this process should be solitary. In fact, I just had a conversation on TikTok with an author who is very much an anti-AI. Brainstorming is everything that they should do on their own. And if you're utilizing ChatGPT, then you're not really a whatever. But this is just nonsense, right? It's not us or them. It's not just you and your imagination. AI is actually becoming an incredible tool as a writing partner. Now, think of AI as like your brainstorming buddy, helping you refine ideas, offering suggestions, and catching things that you might miss. It's been one of the most revolutionary tools for me to feel less alone. Now, I'm a solopreneur, right? Not only am I writing rom-com, and I'm writing urban fantasy, and I'm writing nonfiction, and I'm doing author revolution, I'm talking to you in this podcast, but it's all for the most part done in my home by myself. I mean, my husband Colin's here too, but he's usually running around or, breaking walls or cursing because he's hit his finger with a hammer again. I don't know. He does a lot of things. But the point is, like, we are so solitary, and then we've got so many things on our shoulders that AI is just kind of like a breath of fresh air. I have been writing for over a decade, and I have been a solo writer for over a decade. And so having a tool like ChatGPT helped me to, bounce ideas from and understand something from a new perspective, or even like learn how characters can speak, talk, walk, think differently than myself. Totally, totally a game changer. So, for example, you can even use AI to brainstorm plot twists or develop character arcs. And I just did a class for Plot Geek Academy for Troy Lambert on how to use AI to be able to supercharge your character design. It's so freaking good. I love it so much. Okay, so there's just the solo myth that you have to be by yourself doing the thing and, slaving away for your words. Now, there is a catharsis there. There is something that gets released when you're doing it on your own. But if you're doing this as a career and you've been doing it for a long time, or if you're feeling stuck, there is no shame in utilizing a tool to help you brainstorm. And not everyone has high strategic in their strengths, right? Not everyone is high achiever, not everyone is high maximizer. Strategic isn't always a strong suit, and there should be no shame in utilizing a tool that helps you to be more strategic or more creative, because sometimes when you have these conversations, you're able to brainstorm in new ways. I love it. I love it. And so don't let other people tell you how you can create, or that you're not a true creator just because you're utilizing another tool like ChatGPT, like Claude, to be able to understand your story better. Okay? So, mindset shift number 2, I had to unlearn the old school writing process. Now, what do I mean by that? We're conditioned to think that writing takes a long time, right? Especially the planning part. And if you're in the indie circles, if you're, have been in the space for a long time, maybe you're on the rapid release train. Maybe you know that you can write and plan and publish faster. But for the majority of authors, we're taught that good writing comes from hours of grueling work. Am I right? I know I'm right. I've been here a while, right? But using AI, you can quickly generate outlines, tweak your world building, and solve plot inconsistencies without wasting so much time, weeks, and lots of effort. It doesn't have to be like that. So for me, when I'm trying to solve like tricky plot holes, I can literally tell ChatGPT what I'm looking for, how I'm planning out my series, what type of series it is. I'll typically start with letting it know the genre I'm trying to aim for, so that we can get really clear on reader expectations, so that we can get clear on tropes, that we can understand what it is that we're going to try to uncover. And we always start from those big boulders. Now, I taught this in the Plan Your Series challenge as well, that the big boulders are the most important things that we have to talk about first. So if you know what your big boulders are, AKA the most important pivotal moments in your story, everything else can kind of fall around it. And so you don't have to go as detailed into an outline as possible if you at least know your big boulders, right? But ChatGPT can help you to rough out ideas, give you some more plot twist concepts, things that you're not necessarily going to think about. Now, let's just say your character is an Enneagram 2 and you're an Enneagram 9. The two of you are going to think very differently about how to solve a problem. And if you have that mapped out with ChatGPT, you could talk to Chat and say, hey, Chat, my character is an Enneagram 2, and this is the scenario that's unfolding. How can I write a situation, or what type of situation would they put themselves in? How would they solve this problem as an Enneagram 2? And what you're going to find is that maybe they're going to problem solve it in a completely different way from what you would normally do it as. And now all of a sudden, the story is going to feel more genuine. The characters' actions and motivations, the way that they handle things or say things are going to be more consistent with who they are versus who you are. You see what I'm saying? It's so good. And so my mentality when I was shifting into AI, when I was thinking about like, how does this get to work for us? For me, obviously, the testing part of it was never an issue. I never had to unlearn that because that was something I wasn't afraid of. But learning how to understand like the writings process and let go of some of the old ways definitely was. All right, so number 3, I had to unlearn the fear of losing creativity. This is a big myth, right? AI is going to replace creativity or water it down. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Listen up, clean your earballs out. AI amplifies creativity by removing the busy work and helping you to think bigger. Let me repeat that. It amplifies your creativity by removing all the extraneous BS and helping you to think bigger. Now, energy flows where attention goes. Yeah. And so the more energy you're putting on the bigger things, the bigger creativity, and less that you're having to focus on like the little things, the better. So I found that AI lets me focus on like the fun parts of writing, right? So we're developing intricate characters, we're creating twisting plot lines and big emotional moments. And it handles repetitive tasks like scene details, things that, if I'm trying to figure out like where could this be set? What type of mood am I trying to bring in? What would make sense to make the readers really engaged here? Okay? And it just having that concept, I think this is another thing that a lot of people talk about too, where AI is a crutch. And that could definitely be the case. Now here's a little caveat. If you're burnt out and you're feeling like you just don't know what the heck you're doing, AI can be a crutch because you're leaning too much into its knowledge versus you using your own creativity because you're so freaking fried. Or if you're brand new and you're not quite sure what you're trying to do, AI could also be a crutch because you're not learning to develop your skill. However, if you understand story structure, if you understand what your book's trying to become, if you understand what you're trying to say, and you're utilizing it for planning and brainstorming, that's a completely different animal than having it write it for you, okay? And there's nothing, like, to me, guys, there's no shame in utilizing a tool like AI to help you write your book if it's making you feel empowered. Empowered is the key. If you're feeling defeated, if you're feeling like you are trying to pull the wool over people's eyes, if you feel like you are getting away with something, these are all things that maybe should be red flags that you're utilizing AI in a way that is not so creative or not so like in tune with who you really are. However, we've embraced new tools throughout the dawn of time. This is just one more new tool that we're adding to our toolkit to do our jobs, to be more creative, to feel more in flow. Since I'll give you a little hint or a little side note. Since I started using ChatGPT to help me brainstorm and plot out my books, I've had readers talk to me. Like I've always considered myself a pretty good planner, right? And I am high strategic. It's my number 2 strength. But even since utilizing chat to create and understand my outlines better, I have been able to get like reviews and testimonials from readers saying, oh my gosh, these books just keep getting better and better. Her writing is getting better and better. And that's the power of taking off like your brain, the things that aren't as important, and allowing you to kind of just flow into the creativity of whatever is happening. It's so good, guys. So good.
Hey there, Revolutionary. Before we dive into today's episode, I have something super exciting to share with you. If you've been struggling to find your breakthrough moment and you're ready to take your author career to the next level, I want to invite you to check out the High Vibe Author Membership. It's my new membership packed with transformative courses, powerful meditations and hypnoses, and a supportive community that's here to help you manifest the abundant author life you've always dreamed of. Head over to authorrevolution.org/high vibe to learn more and start your journey to success today.
All right, thing number 4, unlearn the need to do it all at once. Unlearn the need to do it all at once. What does that mean? Many writers, I think, feel this need to sit down and map out everything at once, or it's not real planning. Now, while I teach this in 4 books, 5 days, that you can plan out your series of 4 books in 5 days, technically you could do it in less. It's just that I string it out so that you're not getting overwhelmed with all the details that ChatGPT is going to throw at you. But AI lets you break the planning into digestible pieces and really focus on one element at a time. You don't need to plan your entire series in one sitting because you can chunk it down and just like do a plot structure here today, character development tomorrow, world building after that. And especially if you're using a custom GPT, that is dedicated to everything that you're building out, where it understands the plot, it understands your characters, it understands what your process is going to be. Like once it has that information in the back end of the custom GPT, it will help you to continue to refine and build even more into it. And it's been so fabulous in keeping like the world knowledge. It's almost like that world building Bible, right? The book Bible that everybody talks about, series Bible. And it keeps it all there to help you to be consistent, to help you have a tone. And then once your stories are finished, oh my God, the things that you can do with it after that. When the books are done and it understands what you've written, now all of a sudden you have tools to be able to ask, like, okay, we're going to have a sale on this series. What great tone should I bring out in my social media to be able to talk about all the cool things that are going on in this series? Or like, how can I use certain hooks to be able to entice readers who love paranormal fantasy to engage with this particular series? Like the way you can engage ChatGPT is really honestly endless, and it helps you to do so much of the stuff that we're doing so much faster. Takes, like I said, it takes so much of the brain power off of you and puts it onto chat so that you're able to focus on what you really like. You know how authors are always talking about how like writing their newsletter or doing their social media is not their fun suit, right? It's not their fun thing. Writing is. Well, now you can use ChatGPT to help you do those other things that are still important. It still helps you get the word out about your books, but you get to focus on the writing. See how good that is? It's awesome. All right, so thing number 5, unlearn the resistance to change. Now, this is not typically a big one for me, right? I'm pretty malleable, I guess, when it comes to change. I like to see change. I like to lean into change. But there's always that moment. There's always that moment where you're like, do I have to though? But when I feel the resistance to change or that a new technology is coming, or I don't know that I want to try this yet, I lean into that because I typically find that on the other side of it, there's something really cool, right? So the hardest shift for a lot of people, it's letting go of what has been a thing for them, what they've been told has to be like the way it's always been. And I used to think, honestly, like way back in the beginning, I guess, I didn't think that writers needed any real fancy tech. I thought they just needed to write. But then, the first thing I did was go, oh my God, I hate writing in Word. I hate it because it's all like one big flow and I can't find the things I want. And I want to go back and understand what I was doing. And then came Scrivener. Oh, Scrivener was amazing. But then I can't do my layouts with Scrivener very well. So oh gosh, look at this, Vellum. Vellum's awesome. Okay, great. And so I'm utilizing tools and I'm adding new tools as I realize certain things are necessary or that I need to be able to change. And when I started using AI, I realized that I wasn't giving up control. I was actually regaining control of my time and energy. And interestingly enough, I realized just how burned out I was before that happened, before AI came in, because it's freed up so much time. And it's not that I don't want to brainstorm my series on my own. It has nothing to do with that. It's that I actually honestly feel more creative when brainstorming with a chatbot, because AI is like, guys, there's another myth here that I need to dispel. AI is not stealing your content. AI is not like trying to plagiarize everything you've written. If you feed your information into ChatGPT, it's not going to rewrite it for someone else. And now all of a sudden there's a copyright infringement. This is like you reading books. You reading books, they go into your brain. Yeah. Once they're in your brain, they're jumbled up with all of the knowledge, all of the books, all of the words, all of the story structures you have ever incorporated into your brain. Except AI, generative AI, does this on a much bigger scale. And its level of understanding of story structure, of character development, of tropes, of how to get readers excited, of how to hit market trends, like all the things, is going to vastly outweigh the knowledge you currently have. But when it's doing that, when it's talking to you about how to plan your series, when it's talking to you about all the ways to be able to, organize your thoughts, all of that stuff it's jumbled together. It's not trying to pick one thing or the other, unless you're telling it specifically, like, I want to write this book and I want to use the same exact tone as Sarah J. Maas. Now, whether or not it'll actually do that at this point is questionable, because I know that there are certain things that will flag in ChatGPT. It might not do it. It might be like, oh, we can do something that's similar, but at the same time, you have to find your own voice, right? And you're not going to do that by saying completely mimic or copy someone else. And they're not, when it says copying, it's not going to be like, oh, I'm going to rewrite a book that is exactly the same thing that they've already written. It's going to be in the same type of style, the same type of tone. And that's, it's got its own hangups. It's got its own, pluses and minuses there. But for you, you have to learn how to incorporate the evolution of writing tools and learn to be okay with it. Just like Scrivener, just like Google Docs, just like Vellum, just like the typewriter and the computer, like all these things are ways that we were bringing ourselves from one phase of writing to another. And AI is going to be a tool that is going to help so many of us continue to grow our creativity, continue to grow our knowledge, continue to be better at what we do. And the people who are the naysayers, like this woman who is talking to me on TikTok, these are the people who are set in their ways, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But to assume that I'm not a writer, I'm not a creative because I'm utilizing a tool that they're too afraid to try, no, I'm sorry. That's not how this works. What it is that there are two modalities and both are right. There's not one right, not one wrong. And so whatever you find when it comes to AI, however you're feeling about it, however you're wanting to test it, it's the right way, right? If you only want to test it as in, I'm going to see what it's capable of in terms of writing a recipe and not even touch your books, hey, more power to you. But at least you're understanding how it works. If you're willing to brainstorm and that's all you're willing to do with it, that's fine too. If you're willing to outline, or if you're willing to create characters, if you're willing to let it help you create your setting or your setup for your chapter, whatever the amount of utilization is okay. It is right for you. And don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. Don't be scared of these people who have pitchforks out there trying to tell you how to live your author life. This obviously is a much bigger thing. It's kind of the way that I feel about all things in general, because you're not going to tell me I have this little bit of a rebel thing. Maybe that's why it's called author revolution. Like, I have a little bit of rebel in me where I'm like, no, you're not going to tell me how I'm going to create my author career. You're not going to tell me how I'm going to test out new ideas, test out new things, and figure out what works best in my particular life and situation. And so I'm not going to do that to you either. I'm not going to tell you, you must do it this way or you're going to fail. Okay? I've never been that kind of person. And so you'll always see me rooting for the people who are willing to dip their toe into something new and make a potential change. Look at transformation, see how they can be better or shift their perspective or try something that maybe they're too scared to try. Because that's how we grow. It's how we evolve. And if these people are too scared to try, well, then that's fine. Maybe they're growing in different ways. Maybe they're reading different books. Maybe they are going to different classes. They're still going to be learning in their own way, in their own capacity, right? All right. So to recap, here are the 5 things I had to unlearn, and I think many authors have to unlearn when it comes to AI. Number 1, the solo writer myth. Number 2, the old school writing process. Number 3, the fear of losing creativity. Number 4, the need to do it all at once. And number 5, the resistance to change. So now that you know the mindset shifts, it's time to put them into practice. So if you're ready to embrace AI and make a massive leap forward in your series planning, I'm going to give you the opportunity, if you so choose, if you want, to join me in the 4 Books, 5 Days challenge. We're going to be going through step by step as I show you exactly how to plot an entire series of 4 books in less than a week. using ChatGPT. Now, I launched this last October, and this year we're doing it again. In fact, I'm reclaiming October as Plottober instead of Preptober. I know there's a lot of people who are up in arms with NaNoWriMo. It's fine. I personally have always liked the 6-week writing sprint anyway. And so while Nano was my springboard, I never really utilized their platform in the way that a lot of other people do or have in the past. And so for me, it's time to embrace our bigger destiny, our bigger why, our bigger, like, end of the year, let's get this stuff done mentality, ultimately, right? And so if you missed out on 4 books, 5 days, we're doing a live cohort. It's going to be freaking amazing. We're starting next Monday, October 7th, and running through the 12th. So the 5 days technically is Monday through Friday. We're going to have a mindset day on Sunday that opens up on Sunday, the 6th. And then on the 12th, we're going to have our live call where you can bring your questions about AI, about series planning, about writing your books, anything you want to bring it that day. Now remember, if you keep doing things the same way, you're going to get the same results. It's time for a lot of us to try something new. And I promise, once you make these mindset shifts, you'll never want to go back to the old way of writing. It has, like, that old way has burned up. It doesn't exist in my brain anymore because of how revolutionary ChatGPT has been in my process, in the way that I'm going to be doing things into all that I am. So if you want to get signed up, if you want to join the cohort this year, maybe you missed it last year, head over to authorrevolution.org/Plottober. That's Plottober. And it will send you right to the sign up page there. Make sure that you use promo code Plottober24. So Plottober 24. And then you'll save on that process. It'll only be $88 instead of $150. So you're saving, I think it's like 41%, guys. So make sure you use that coupon code. But I want you to know there's so much more coming this month. We're going to talk a lot about AI tools. We're going to talk about rapid releasing and what that looks like for me this year and going forward. There's so many good nuggets that we're going to be talking about in Plottober, and I can't wait to share them with you. So guys, thanks for listening. I can't wait to see what you create this Plottober or whenever with your newly supercharged planning skills. Head over to authorrevolution.org/255 if you want to be able to check out the links or download the transcript. All of it will be there as well. I hope you're excited to try new things. I hope you're excited to think about how AI can really enrich your process for planning, for growing. It's going to be amazing, and you're going to love every step of the way. It is not the big, scary thing so many people are making it out to be. It really isn't. And you're going to enjoy it so much. All right? You know what to do then. Go forth and start your author revolution.